What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. With Wednesday season 2 right around the corner, I decided to go ahead and check out season 1 of the show because I'm not really the biggest fan of the Addams family. I've never seen any of the movies. I think I've watched the first animated film that came out back in 2019, and I remember about 1% of that movie. So I decided to see what the hype was about because this show came out back in 2022, and for some strange reason, this show just took a life of its own and was really hyped up as one of the greatest shows of all time. You had Jenna Ortega going viral for her dance in that show, and this was around the time when Scream 5 came out, so she was kind of riding that wave a little bit more as we were getting into Scream 6 in 2023. And I think this is a show that really gave Jenna Ortega that boost, taking on the role of Wednesday Addams after Christina Ricci took it on in the films. I think for the most part, she handles the character pretty well. What we got going on here in Wednesday is that you have Wednesday Addams that is going to a boarding school of gifted youngsters where you have werewolves. Some people are able to turn other people into stone if they talk too much, which is really how I feel whenever people are just talking to me, whenever I just don't want to interact with people. So we got that going for us. And in the midst of her trying to really adjust to this new life with her new roommate played by Emma Myers, who was just in Minecraft a couple of months ago, she finds this creature in the woods that is killing people. And now there is this whole mystery going around about who this creature is, what it's going after, and how exactly we can stop this creature from actually happening again. And in the midst of all that, you have a subplot in here where Wednesday finds out that her dad was a criminal and he's on the run after he killed somebody in his past. And as somebody that isn't really big on Tim Burton, you can definitely feel his stamp throughout the entire movie. I'm not sure if he was the showrunner or just the creator and director of a couple of episodes, but you do feel his signature touch throughout the entire movie with the aesthetics of this place. Whether you're talking about the boarding school that Wednesday is at, or when we diverge away from the school and go into the city, the woods, you definitely do feel Tim Burton stamp in here. And if you are a big Tim Burton fan, odds are you ended up loving this show no matter what. But I think that's something that I really enjoyed about this movie is that it brought me into this world and it made me want to get invested. Once we get into this mystery about who this creature is and what it's going after, it does get you hooked on to the mystery of it all. You do want to know exactly what's going on. And seeing Jenna Ortega play Wednesday Addams, I thought she was great. Even though I think this show is kind of a blessing and a curse for her, because in a way, this show really did ramp up Jenna Ortega's career, but at the same time, for the past 2.5, almost 3 years, it feels like she's playing the same exact role in every single movie that she's in, whether you're talking about Beetlejuice, another movie directed by Tim Burton, or you're talking about Death of a Unicorn. It does feel like she is typecast into playing the same person. And I do kind of wish that she's able to get out of that little spunk because I do think she is a great actress. And for the most part, with the material that she is given in this show, I thought she handled this show pretty well. I'm not sure if this was the first show that she's led outside of her Disney days, but I thought she handled the show from beginning to end with class. And you do care about this character, you care about what she's going through, and there are aspects about her character that I found intriguing and interesting. Even the little relationship that she has with Thing, wasn't sure if I was going to care about her having a interaction with a severed hand, but they were able to make that work. It does feel like everybody knows how to interact with this severed hand. They know what it's saying, and I really enjoyed most of those interactions. Emma Myers as Wednesday's roommate is probably one of the highlights of this movie. She has some wonderful chemistry with Jenna Ortega when they are on screen together, and even whenever they aren't on screen. I'm not really the biggest fan when it comes down to teen romance and teen triangles. When she gets stood up on a date, you do feel bad for her, and there are things about her character that I really did enjoy. Even though she was a little bit annoying in the beginning, you do grow to like her, and I think a lot of that has to do not only with the way that Emma was directed, but also with the way that she handled the character. And I thought she had a lot of charisma, she had a lot of charm. Even those annoying moments, she was able to handle those moments greatly. And I like the mystery that is surrounding this whole show, where you have Wednesday trying to figure out who exactly is this creature and what it wants, but it also has a lot of red herrings that you do fall for. And I thought this show was going to be fairly predictable, and for the most part, half of the show, I was able to pin out some things here and there, and there are some things that make it feel very obvious. But as we get through the entire season, and you're trying to figure and pieces of the puzzle are starting to come together, I thought they handled the mystery aspect of their show pretty well. I was invested throughout the entire show, and you do want to see exactly what's going on, even though it does start to get fairly predictable towards the last half of the show. For the first half of the show, I thought I was on the right path, and I thought I was choosing exactly who I thought the creature was going to end up being, and it wasn't really who I thought it was going to be. But as we go into the last half of the show, I'm glad that it threw a bit of a curveball. And you also have Christina Ricci in here as one of the directors, I believe. She's kind of like me in a way, where she goes to her coffee shop and gets the same exact order every single time she goes in there. And I like that she had a lot of interactions with Wednesday. I know a lot of fans of the original film were probably happy seeing Christina Ricci on screen and seeing Jenna Ortega interact with each other. Where this movie is kind of meh is the last couple of episodes for me just didn't hit as much as the first half of the show, where it started to lose a little bit of steam for me. And there is a love triangle that is thrown in here between Wednesday and two other guys that I just was not all that interested in. I'm at a point where I'm not really all that interested into teen love triangles. I just find it a unbearable cliche that we have in a lot of these shows. And so if they handled it pretty well, I would have probably been on board with it. But generally, that love triangle just wasn't for me, and I kind of wish they focused a little bit more on Wednesday, because when the show is on Wednesday doing her detective stuff, I think that is when the show is singing. When we get thrown into this love triangle, I think that is where the show kind of loses its steam. And I kind of hope that they are able to get rid of that in the next season, because I know Jenna Ortega was really disappointed in that aspect of the show, is that she had a love triangle in here. And I think for the next season, they're probably going to get rid of that. So I hope they do. But overall, this is a show that I really enjoyed. It's a lot of fun. It's definitely not one that I loved. But if you are a hardcore fan, I can see why you would love this show. It's entertaining enough. There are a lot of intriguing elements in here, and I thought it was handled very well. This just felt like another Tim Burton staple, which isn't really all a bad thing, because you know exactly when it's a Tim Burton stable. He has his fingerprint on the pulse, and you know exactly from day one, yep, that's a Tim Burton project, and I'm going to be sad. For me, I really enjoyed Wednesday. It's a show that surprised me. I didn't think that I was going to enjoy it all too much, but overall, I enjoyed the show for what it was. The mystery aspect was really intriguing. The characters, I thought for the most part, were really enjoyable. Some got on my nerves more than others. But overall, I do think that this is a show that is worth watching, just probably not in a binge style. Maybe take breaks here and there, because it does lose a little bit of steam towards the end of the show, but overall, pretty enjoyable. Those are my thoughts on Wednesday season 1. Let me know if this is a show that you love, or is this just a show that kind of disappointed you. Drop those thoughts in the comments below and let me know. Are you excited for season 2?